So I had somebody on YouTube that wanted me to address Synagogue of Satan statement in Revelation 9. I mean, in Revelation 3. And also a passage in Amos 5, which I will go to. Well, what happened? Let me get it up here. All right, let me see if it's pulling up. Yep, it did. Okay. So in Amos 5, he wanted me to address, this fellow wanted me to address Amos 5. And I want you to read very, very carefully with me, otherwise you very well might miss it. You offered sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness, 40 years, O house of Israel. But you also borne the tabernacle of your Molech and Chiun, your images, the star of your God that you made for yourselves. And this is talking about when they made the golden calves, the two of them, and their star and all of that, while they were in the wilderness. And he said, for this reason, I will cause you to go into captivity beyond Damascus, says Jehovah, whose name is Elohim, not God, not Lord, of hosts. Okay? So this statement is already self-answered. And they were sent beyond Damascus, were they not? Are you people incapable of reading history books? Now, let us go ahead and address this particular passage. Where Revelation 3, where it says, and verse 8, but before that, to the messenger of the ecclesia, that would mean a Gentile church, or a Gentile congregation, I should say, in Philadelphia. Right. These things says he that is holy and he that is true. He has the key of David. The key of David is, what that means is the key to the kingdom of David. And the Vatican is not the kingdom of David, just so you know. And he opens and no man shuts, and shuts and no man opens. I know your works. I have set before you an open door, and no man can shut it. For you have a little strength, and have kept my word, and have not denied my name. And as I have continuously, unabatedly pointed out, that name replacement is name denial. So if you replace his name with some other name, and his name is Yehoshua, if you replace the name Yehoshua, who he was given at birth, and I have proven it to you when I have shown you Luke chapter 1, that his name is indeed Yehoshua, and then King James Version went and replaced that name with Jesus in all caps. That is name denial. He says, because you have not denied my name, he says, you have kept my word, have not denied my name. Now, I'm going to hold off on this right here. Okay? And I'm going to go down to verse 10. Because you have kept the word of my patience and also have not denied my name, I will also keep you from the hour of temptation, which is to come upon the whole world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So name denial is associated with keeping his word. If you deny his name, you deny his word. And if you deny his name and you deny his word, and you live in the last days, you are going to be thrown into the great tribulation that is going to try to come upon the whole earth. That means the Gentiles. are not exempt from it. Now, verse 9, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan. Now, we all agree that Satan is the great red dragon, right? Which say that they are Jews. They claim they are Jews, but are not, but are liars. I will make them come down and worship before your feet, and to know that I have loved you. Have you not read Romans 11, verse 26? But that scripture is your kryptonite. Now, so synagogue. The word synagogue. Let us look it up. What language does it come from? It is a Greek word, some synagogue. It just means bringing together an assembly. That's what it means. But it's a Greek word. It has no Hebrew origin. What language did Yehoshua speak? His name is never Jesus, as I pointed out to you. He cried out in Aramaic, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. He was speaking in Arabic. So when he spoke to Yohanan, he was speaking to him in Arabic, in Aramaic. Aramaic. All right? So, what word did he use then? Well, these are the Hebrew words for, and the Hebrews today don't even, they might say the word synagogue, but I'm going to read this through. This is a Rabbi Moshe Waldorf. All right? I grew up going to a temple, and in my younger days, I dated a few young ladies, and one of them talked about going to temple. They were Jewish ladies, okay, that I had dated when I was younger. Essentially, those names are almost synonyms today. However, it is useful to take a look at their historical evolution. Traditionally, Jewish congregations were known as Kehilla Kodesh, or holy assemblies. So the word then in Hebrew would have been Kehillat. In singular form, a Kahal Kodesh in single form is Kahal Kodesh. They were also referred to as Batei, Knesset, or House of Assembly. Just like today, assembly is the Knesset, or the Knesset is the word assembly that is referred to the Jewish parliament in Israel. The Greek translation synagogue means assembly. It is of Greek origin. Yehoshua spoke Aramaic, which is a form of Hebrew. So he did not even use the term synagogue of Satan. And you Christians, the word synagogue that is of Gentile origin, that is of Greek origin, that is of Western civilization origin, is a word that you made up for your own selves. This is what I mean when I tell you that you condemn your own selves. It is not a reference to a Jewish temple at all. It is a reference to Gentile assemblies. While the Beth HaMikdash, the ancient Jewish temple, existed, the role of synagogues might have been quite different from today. We do know that they existed in, and shame on this rabbi for using the term Palestine, Babylonia, and elsewhere. We know that the Torah was read in them on a regular basis, and tefillot, prayers, or psalms were recited as part of the service. When the temple was destroyed by the Romans in 70 CE, the synagogue, as he is saying, but as correctly should be saying Knesset or one of these other words, Kehillat, all right? If it's a holy assembly, it would be Kehillat, Kodesh. They were also called Batei Tefillah, or house of prayer. They weren't called synagogues, is what this man is trying to tell you. And so when you go all the way down to here, so today there is no substantive difference between calling a Jewish congregation a temple, a Kehillah, or a Shul. Notice that he did not mention synagogue. That is your words. Oh, Gentile of Western civilization. Now, some of you claim that the disciples spoke Greek and that the Messiah spoke Greek. The Galilean dialect was a form of, why do they say Jewish Palestinian? It's Jewish Aramaic, spoken by the people in Galilee during the late Second Temple period, and that's actually not the late Second Temple period, but the Third Temple period. The blurring of the truth is so awful and so glaring. As I pointed out in my last video, or I believe it was my last video, or was it that I pointed out to somebody on YouTube, that Solomon's temple was the first temple. Zerubbabel's temple was the second temple, and Herod's temple was the third temple. Okay? So the Second Temple period, late Second Temple period, is actually the Third Temple period. For example, at the time of, I don't know why, they blur the lines again. They say Jesus, but at the time of Yehoshua and his disciples, as distinct from a Judean dialect spoken in Jerusalem. So what he's saying is that the disciples and Yehoshua spoke Jewish, not Palestinian, but Jewish Aramean or Aramaic, spoken by the people in Galilee, and all the disciples did. And it was distinct from the regular Judean dialect spoken in Jerusalem. And the Judean dialect in Jerusalem would have been straight up Hebrew. But the dialect of Jewish Aramean or Aramaic is very, very close to Judean or actual Hebrew. And as I pointed out, when Yehoshua prayed, these words, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. Now that is Aramean for the Psalm of David, which would be El, El, Azab, Rachok, Yeshua. Because Yeshua only means salvation. It does not mean Jehovah's salvation. So, as I pointed out many times before, Yehoshua means Jehovah's salvation, giving glory and honor to the creator of salvation. Daba, Shegag, or Shehaga. All right? So it was a bit different, but they would know what each other is saying, just like the I could use Portuguese and Spanish as an example. They are both Latin, and they both would understand each other, but they are two dialects of the same language. All right? Now, what I want to show you is the wonderful thing about Bible Hub is you can go to the Aramaic Bible, which is called the Peshitta Holy Bible translated. Now, it is still not accurate, it's still not correct. But the good part about it is they use the name Jehovah. Of course, there is no J sound in Jehovah. It never was, never shall, will be. But they use the word Jehovah. And instead of using the word John, they use Yochanan like it's supposed to be. Okay? And they use the word Yeshua for Yehoshua, which is not right, but it's not as bad as using Jesus. Okay? So if you get tired of looking at these wrong names, you can try to use this the Aramaic Bible in plain English. That's what this is. And Mary is Miriam right here, or Miriam in Miriam in Aramaic, Miriam in Hebrew. You see how Aramaic and Hebrew are almost the same. Well, they come from the same origin. Okay? So that's the good part about this particular Bible Hub. You can use these helps. You do not have excuses, folks. That is what I'm trying to point out. See this right here, Aramaic Bible translated. Well, what happened to Aramaic in plain English? But see, there it is right there, right? Somewhere they have Aramaic in plain English, but this is fine. All right. Now I want to go to the next subject matter. Now, how do the Gentiles lie when they say that they are Jews, but they are not? It is in the very core of their standard. Now, those of you who are not well versed in English, a flag is a standard. In fact, what I should do is, just so you understand, flag is a standard. It's sad that even regular English anymore doesn't even understand what I'm trying to say. Standard is a flag. Yeah, okay. So dictionary.com defines a standard as a flag. So this is my whole point here. Okay, this is the standard of the EU. This represents the EU. What is it? It is a crown of how many stars? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But wait a minute. Why are they claiming the crown of 12 stars when they're Gentile? That is a good question. Well, there's a fight between the woman and the dragon. There appeared, as Revelation 12, and there appeared a great wonder in the sky, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Now, a lot of theologians claim, oh, that is somehow the church. It is not, and I'll explain to you why. Because in the very next verse, you will see, she being with child cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. And we all know who this child was. Well, the church did not bring forth a child. Israel did. Israel did. And there appeared another wonder in the sky, and behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns. So these 7 heads and 10 horns, the 7 heads Julio Claudio Julius Dynasty, if I remember correctly. It's also 7 mountains in Rome. And both Romes, that would mean in the one in Italy and the one that Turkey conquered. What is that called? I'll come to me in a minute. There are 7 mountains on both of those Romes. The first Rome and the second Rome. Now the 10 horns. Who are the 10? Now you got to understand, in order for the dragon to have 7 heads and 10 horns, the 7 heads would be an allegiance to the dragon, and the 10 horns also, which came later, would be an allegiance to the dragon. All right? Now, I want to show you something. We already know that. Well, I'm not even concerned about the 7 heads, but the 10 horns. A dragon on a papal crest. The man at the Vatican worships the dragon. Now, I want to read to you something from BibleStudyTools.com. And they go to Daniel 7 and verse 24, and the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them. So did the man at the Vatican arise first, or did the 10 kings arise? No, the 10 kings arise first. And he shall be different from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings, or uproot 3 kings. As for the 10 kings out of this kingdom, 10 kings shall arise and rise. Okay, this is a different I'll see these are different translations, meaning the same thing. All right. This is on the BibleStudyTools.com, or 10 kingdoms which have sprung out of the Roman Empire. That's right. Or into which it was broken and divided upon the dissolution of it about 476, which according to Mr. Mead were thus divided. 1. The Britons. 2. Saxons. 3. Franks. 4. Burgundians. 5. Visigoths. 6. Suevians and Alans. 7. The Vandals. 8. Alamanes, which Alamanes are Germans, by the way, if you do not know. 9 the Ostrogoths, and 10 the Greeks, of which the Greek Orthodox sprang up, and the Russians are now of the old ancient Orthodox. The list Bishop Lloyd has given them is so this is a different one. So they all have a different variation, but it's generally the same. And even Sir Isaac Newton reckoned the 10 kingdoms in the following order: the kingdom of the Vandals, the Alans in Spain and in Africa, and of the Suevians in Spain, of the Visigoths, so on and so forth. Now, and another shall rise after thee, not Titus Vespasian or Gog and Magog or any of that, but the Pope of Rome, and he calls them Antichrist, as they say. So, you modern day Christians, you are so far away from the truth that you can't even recognize this. So who then worships at the synagogue of Satan? If, as it says, that the dragon had 7 heads and 10 horns. So the 7 heads and 10 horns worship the dragon, and I showed you. You want to give me more? If you want more proof, want more proof of the Welsh flag. And I showed you in times past, there's the great red dragon. I showed you in times past about the Queen's dragons, the Queen Elizabeth's dragons. You see, folks, there's our Gentiles. So the synagogue of Satan are Gentiles. And he is going to make them worship at the feet of who? Well, this group in Philadelphia, as I pointed out, who it was said about them, I will go there, back there. And this is a Gentile congregation. But why is he going to invite them in his kingdom? He's the one who has a kingdom of David. He's the one who opens and no man shuts, and shuts and no man opens. I know your works. I have set before you an open door. He's going to open his door to the kingdom of the people of that congregation because they had a little strength. They have kept my word, and they did not deny his name. What you Christians do, what you worshipers of the dragon do. So who are these synagogue, the real synagogue of Satan, who are Christians and who use the standard of Israel, the crown with the 12 stars, who usurp the crown with the 12 stars that belong to Israel? Who are these people the Europeans going to have to serve, bow down to? I will show you. Isaiah 60. This is speaking about the future glory of Zion. All you anti-Zionists out there, yes, I am an arch-Zionist. Now, I'm just going to read through it until I find it. Arise and shine, for your light is come, and the glory of not the Lord, but Jehovah is risen upon you. For behold, darkness shall cover the earth. That is the hour of temptation, and gross darkness to people. But Jehovah shall arise upon you, and his glory shall be seen upon Zion. Lift up your eyes, Zion, and look around about. Everyone is gathering themselves together. They come to you. Your sons, Zion. Who are the sons of Zion? The Jews shall come from afar, and your daughters shall be nursed at your sides. You shall see streams, not flow together, streams of people flowing, and you shall fear, be in awe, and you, Zion, shall grow wide and large. There's going to be a great expanse of land that's going to be taken from the Gentiles. Enlarged. When the forces of the Gentiles, there's that word, the Gentile, you see it? When the forces of the Gentiles come in, when they invade, when the forces of the Gentiles invade, they're going to be defeated. Because the abundance of the sea, the Yam, Mediterranean Sea, shall be overthrown, overturned, when the forces of the Gentiles invade. Okay? Then you have all the people of the Arabs will have to come to bring their gold, and show forth praises to Jehovah. They're going to have to bring their gold. And who are these that fly as a cloud, as doves to the windows? The coastlands wait, because the ships of Tarshish first, the westernmost countries of the world, to bring your sons from afar, and their silver and their gold with them. Not like it was when in 1948, when the Arabs kicked out the Jews and stole their gold and everything they had except the money on their backs. No. This time, all their gold and silver is coming with them to Shem Yehovah, Elohim, to the Holy One of Israel. Now, it says, the sons of strangers shall build up your walls. The sons of non-Israelites shall build up your walls, and their kings shall serve you. For in my wrath have I smote you, but in my favor I will have mercy upon you. A concept you Christians will never understand until you see it happen. For your gates will be open continually, and they shall not be shut day nor night, that you may bring unto me the wealth of the Gentiles, and their kings might be brought. For the Gentile, Goy, and people, and kingdom that will not serve you shall perish. Those nations shall be utterly wasted. Let's go down to verse 14. And the sons of those who afflicted you, the sons of those who afflicted the Jews will come doing what? Bowing down to you. And those who despised you, those who spurned you, those who treated the Jews with contempt. And some of those are you listening. and you treated Jerusalem with contempt by treading it down underfoot for 42 months. You shall bow themselves down at the soles of their feet. And there, friends, you have the answer. You can sit here and mock all of you all that you want to. But those of you who call attention to the sins of the Jews, I think I got one more scripture for you. Who are you, O man? Let's see. I might not. Who judges? I'll find it here eventually. Oh, here we go. Romans 2. This applies to you Christians who continually pass judgment on the Jews. Therefore, you are inexcusable, O man, whoever you are who judges, who condemns. Wherein you judge another, you condemn yourself, because you that judge, you do the same things. Thank you, Paul, for writing this and pointing the finger at the Romans, because this is, after all, directed to the Romans.